Just get this here.
In your packet, you have the.
Hold on.
Oh,
Please.
green, right? Yeah.
It's green. It's on. It's green, but it usually says something. Okay, it
There we
doesn't
go.
show there anymore. Okay.
In your packet, you have the minutes from the April 19th board meeting. I want someone has a chance to take a look at that. I'll accept the motion.
So second.
Motion by Dan, second by Bob. All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And treasurer's report, Kristen.
Okay, first up is the balance sheet. You'll see that we have $156,200 in cash and about $1.7 million in savings. Obviously, property hasn't changed. Accounts payable at $56,000, and the assets equal the liabilities. Then on our next one, it's called the budget status report, which is profit and loss. This month we had $4,154 in interest. That was actually the only revenue we had this month. And then really had a light month in expenses, mostly last bill from our auditor administration to town of Lockport for a bottom line figure on the back of a net monthly loss of $3,417. And year to date, we have a loss of $28,437, but we're expecting revenues to come in, subsequent months. Any questions?
All right. No questions. We'll accept the motion to accept the financial statements as presented.
So moved. Second.
All right. Motion by Shane, second by Darlene. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and I present the bills for May. Total of $6,311.44. Nothing unusual. Total Lockport, Toshiba, Tom Sai, and NICEAG. So I present those coming from me with a motion.
All right. Motion by Kristen to pay invoices.
Second.
Second by Janine. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And Mr. Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I refer you to our report of, which I can't find right now. Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny, Pat. Let me do this. If you recall, last month I mentioned that the reporting numbers for the hits on the website seemed odd. Tom came in again yesterday and looked at it, and he said it's just different reporting. Everything pretty much is status quo, and it hasn't changed much. Yeah, thank you. That's okay. That's good. Thank you. So it really hasn't changed, as you see, much from. It did bounce up 10 hits or something. So we're going to keep our eye on that. But he said, don't be concerned. It's just they've changed their way of reporting as we expected. Office update. The opening, of course, went well. Our flag is up and in place. Our master gardeners, I think we've reported before, are going to be doing the front landscaping. They should be starting, weather permitting, in the next month or so. That's a big weather permitting.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, our Niagara County clerks, I just learned yesterday, are hosting their luncheon here in our new community room. So all the clerks will be here today. So that'll be our first function in the community room, which will be fun. I had a meeting. I had coffee with Padma on April 15th. Her normal little cheery self, very optimistic. We did learn that her financing really still is in place. We were concerned that she perhaps had lost that. No, it's all still good. She somehow or another, the connection with Siva is holding up her starting, but she assures us that she's going to have foundations in before the end of the year. Otherwise, her financing will be in jeopardy. So she is definitely planning to move forward. I had a very, very important meeting with the Economic Development Council in conjunction with the Niagara County IDA. I was invited out. That meeting consisted of representatives from NICEAG, from NIMO, the EDC, the DEC, and it was really a very collaborative meeting. And in that meeting, the gentleman from the EDC state said to me, you've got a fast track grant that, that's just sitting there. Get it done so I can pay you. So I dug that out And back in 23, you were awarded a grant of about $135,000. It was a 50-50 match, so we had to pay we have to pay the whole 135, then we get 67.5 back. So I dug that out. We've actually expended from our checkbook $44,000 already. I'm going to be meeting with the engineers to move forward to get that grant cleaned up and submitted so we can get our money back. That's basically, it was a feasibility. Track one is considered feasibility and studies. We've done some. So then they said to me, you got to move forward to track three, which is construction and infrastructure. They want to give us a $500,000 grant for that. And then I get this thing from another guy that was at the meeting just last night saying, we want to give you $135,000 towards your IDA South development. So I'm going to be really busy working on filtering out all of these grants. Power Up wants to give us some money, and it's all going to be contingent on our meeting with Wendell to see how we want to move forward with that IDA South. They want shovel ready. It's all about shovel ready.
Oh.
So we're going to be working hard on that.
Does that mean roads?
It means roads, yeah. And I mean, realistically, if you don't mind my just, one thing I learned, and you'll see further in the report, the little Canadian company that talked about possibly going in these two lots here, the 5 acres here, backed out because little did I know that we have rock at 2 to 4 feet. So I dug out all the soil borings and they went away because they have to have subterranean docking. So basically, as I look at this thing, I've got this 5 acres, and I got this. Now this, I'll be talking with the engineers to see if there's any way we can access it. That was our clawback piece, right? Tom, is that what we clawed back here from Yahoo?
Well, we clawed back the part that ended up going
To Bison Bay?
to Bison.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still Yahoo's, isn't it? Or
No.
H2's?
That other stuff is, I don't recall
But we
exactly,
really,
but I
so
think,
until
I
we,
think it's tough to develop because of the.
well, there's a big ditch, there's a ton of wetland, but, maybe we can squeak something out. But in the meantime, if Siva actually closes and Padma exercises their option, which she assures me she's going to do, really this is the piece that we have to concentrate on now. And to be able to develop it, it's going to mean that we have to do something here. But in just my calculations early this morning, I mean, just in the offers that they've made, they're offering us almost $800,000. It'll cost us $400,000, but to get that road in, give us some developable property, I think will be most advantageous. I went out to Yahoo and I met with HR and I met with Yahoo. It's somewhat sad in that the Yahoo server rooms they used to all be twinkling like Christmas trees, and they're very dark now, and they're just kind of they're outdated. Their things are outdated. I met with HR, the representative from HR, really great guy. Both of the leaders of Yahoo and HR are Wilson and Newfane boys that have gone off to college and come back, and they've been with Yahoo and HR since H5. I'm sorry, who's HR? H5. Thank you. So they're really great guys. Neither of them have any idea what the plan is. They're just waiting to hear something from corporate. So they're asking me, well, what are your discussions with them? I said, well, they talked about wanting to move forward and needed 100 megawatts of power, and that'll stop anybody, dead in their tracks today. So anyway, that was an interesting meeting, and that's about all I've got with regard to that. Any questions? And I do have an item for executive session for consultation with the attorney.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, let's move on to attorney's report. Tom.
See the wind update. I don't have anything additional to what Pat indicated. Still waiting to hear about their financing and closing on a mortgage that I haven't heard anything on that. SRICV Plastics is still working their way through the planning board, but they're very, very close. I expect probably an approval in the next month or so. And then we would be working on closing their financial packaging from us. And I did hear from Terry Burton, who is their attorney, represented both the wind and plastics. He was ready to move forward finally on the closing of the financial packaging. So we just are getting back into that, literally yesterday. I think I sent him an email yesterday or earlier this week. So that'll be moving forward. Any questions on either of those?
So it looks positive.
It looks like everything's moving.
Well, before
It does.
was dark.
Moving. It does.
It's like
Well,
a snail, but it's
It looks positive. They're within their time frame still. And then there's a new procurement policy. I have it here. I'm not sure if it made it to the packets yesterday. Pat asked me to bring this into line with what the town of Lockport has. So the procurement policies are guided at the top level by state law, which is for a public work, anything over $35,000 goes to closed bid. Any purchase of goods over $20,000 goes to closed bid. Underneath those thresholds are the internal policies that we follow. Ours were kind of outdated here at the IDA. Pat asked me to bring them in line with the town of Lockport's. A lot of municipalities bumped their internal procurement policy thresholds up around and after COVID. Pretty much since then, prices have been spiking everywhere on everything. So, for example, you used to have department head discretion on a purchase of less than $1,000. They could purchase it without having to get multiple quotes. The town of Lockport has that set at $5,000, so I've raised that up. And similarly for public works, public work is any kind of work on a building, essentially any kind of addition on a building, road work, infrastructure, things like that would be public work. Signage. That previously was left to department head discretion of $5,000 or less. We bumped that up to 10. So right now you're looking at guidelines, and I could pass this out. The guideline is for purchases. Anything over $20,000 goes to closed bid, and between $20,000 and $10,000 would require 3 proposals from vendors. Between $10,000 and $5,000 would require 2 proposals from vendors, and less than $5,000 would be left essentially to Pat's discretion, in this case, department head discretion. And then for a public work, there's just 2 categories. Less than $35,000 but greater than $10,000 requires 3 written quotes, and then under $10,000 is left to department head discretion. So those are bumped up. And then I just made some other small adjustments. The old policy had, I think, Dave Kenyon still in there.
Oh, gosh.
So they just needed a little bit of tweaking.
Little tweaking.
We managed to skip an entire Tom Sy era without putting his name into that policy. So that policy had not been updated since, I think, 2011
Sounds
was
right.
the last time I had it in our system. So that's the overview of the procurement policy. If you guys are interested in taking that up today, or we could take a resolution to pass that, or you can consider it later, or we can talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk
I mean,
about it. It should streamline things.
Yeah, it matches the town, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Do we have to vote on this, or?
Yeah, you need to take a vote to approve the new procurement policy as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
All right, then a motion by Bob.
I'll second.
All right, second by Terry, to approve the new procurement policy as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, that city plastic should be gone on old business. I'll let you take a look at the photos. As you know, I've contacted Chris McCaffrey regarding a new signage. He indicates that the sign that's out there, which is basically that black sign with gold lettering, it really just needs to be touched up, cleaned up. That's right. But the sign itself, he just said with some additional paint, they'll remove them. What he wants me to do is figure out what to do with that block wall, which is really in very bad shape. So he said maybe just some caulk and paint. And I said, Chris, that's just, did you see it, Terry? It's that, the big one. It's really in bad shape. So I think what I'm going to do, unless somebody else has some really interesting suggestions, I think I might contact a guy that does some of our ephes and stucco over at the Troopers building and see if he would do, a styrofoam encapsulation of that block wall, and or we can do something like, a poly wood on it. I don't know.
Is that wood under that paint?
No, it
It's
looks
block.
like cinder block.
It's cinder block.
Yeah.
So Chris said he'll go out and remove the signs. He'll bring them back to his shop. He'll clean them up. I got to figure out what to do with the block wall. So we'll come up with something. But I was glad, and my gut is.
Is
Pardon
there a
me?
fake stone that
Are you
would look
sure
like
it's
the stone on
cinder block?
transit?
That looks like
That's a good idea, and I hadn't thought about that.
What's
Are you
that?
sure that's
Cultured
cinder block?
stone.
Fake stone
Use
that
a
would look
cultured
at the.
stone.
Oh,
they
yeah,
should
that'd
have
be nice.
things,
Yeah.
That's a
It's
pretty.
all over
I
the
don't know why I
place.
didn't
Yeah.
think about it. That's a great idea, Bob. That's what I'll get a price from Mason.
What were you thinking?
Fake stone.
Fake
I
stone.
like the veneer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. That would look
Basically,
really
stuff
good.
goes
Looks like
down
an
there.
It
Yeah.
eliminates the maintenance.
And then,
Yeah.
I'll do it in grays and keep the black sign. He gave us some other colors if we wanted to repaint the sign. But I don't know. I think the black is nice, and it also matches the one that's on Junction Road. So I don't really want to mix
Right.
everything up.
Size contrast.
I like the black. Like
Yeah.
Well, he was just giving us.
It's nice how you have the snow in there.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful?
winter, summer.
Exactly. So I'll move forward with that.
All the same day sometimes.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, really. That's nice.
I'll move forward on getting some pricing together on the masonry and having the signs removed and repainted. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for that.
Well, Pat, what are the images on the right hand side that show these double signs?
That's the Junction Road sign.
Oh.
So he's just doing
Are they
the same
redoing those
color.
as well?
We're just that's like a V-shaped sign, and he's just gonna again
Touch it
touch it up. Yeah, there's no reason to put any huge money in that. Okay.
That one does not.
No,
That's the big deal.
yeah, it's really not a very good
Is
first.
this current?
right.
Yes.
Yes, that's
So
how
you
it
got black posts there on the front. It's
Well, I think the
showing
front.
white posts.
Yeah, I can't tell. I think they're white.
Yeah, leave them
Actually,
black though.
I think they're actually white. Yeah, we can. Yeah,
They're actually white.
I believe they're white.
I go by there
this is-
every
this is
day, and
the
I
image.
don't.
Do you really?
I do. I don't remember.
This is a rendering.
Where's the real picture? Is that looks like the real picture?
All of them look fake, to be honest with you.
Oh,
With
yeah,
the
you
snow
can't
on
tell
there,
the
it's like you can't.
Well,
You
you
really
know that
can't.
that's real because it has the snow on it.
It's too smart.
Uh-oh, we don't know.
They were black.
Do you?
I don't
I
recall.
think you
Black.
repaint them, I'm sure.
Okay.
Right?
He can. Yeah, we can.
We'll keep them black, right?
Yeah,
Black.
because the white would have stood out to me.
You think?
Yeah. I think the
Text me
black.
when you go by tomorrow. Or take a picture.
Yeah.
So let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I told you about that. So they're gone. I'm heading off to Cooperstown for the New York State EDC conference on May 20th. And just so you know, following that, I'm heading to Florida. So I'll be gone for a week or 10 days. We'll just carry on.
Where are you staying in Cooperstown?
Oh,
The place where Tom used to stay?
No.
Down on the hill?
no, I hate that. The Lakeview? No, thank you. I'm driving 4 miles to the Hampton or something. But you can't get into the Otisaka. I mean, that's booked into. Besides, it's too expensive. But it's I mean, they snap that up in a second. So
Yeah.
Back
There was
in
like
the
a little
day-
hotel that Tom liked to stay
the Lakeside Hotel.
at. You're not.
No.
It's not her.
No.
Oh.
Back in the day, and I don't know. Again, I guess we didn't serve on the board, but back in the day when, who was the old chairman? Oh my God, of the IDA. We used to. The whole board used to go. to the Otis Saga. It was wonderful. It was
Oh,
great.
really?
Yeah, we used to go. I went 2 or 3 years.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we, you know,
Oh my
so
gosh. I remember auditing that and thinking it must be nice.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
it's like, oh yes.
And, yeah, I don't know. So maybe I'll see what I can do. Get some of that grant money. We'll put travel
I'll
expenses
tell you,
in
the
there, right?
board you
Yeah.
want to be on is Cornerstone. The
Serious?
whole board goes to some pretty cool places.
Oh,
Really? Thank you
I
for
know
that.
somebody who's on it.
Well, it's something to endeavor, you know. Okay, so I'm going to Cooperstown. Just you said you wanted a little economic development update. Ross Dress for Less, which is going into the old Office Mix building, they've pulled their permit. Burlington Coat has also pulled their permit. They, Ross has they had a facade, right? That was the one that had the
No, that was
I
Burlington.
can't keep them straight. Okay, but
Burlington had
they've
a
got
facade
approved.
change that went through the planning board.
Okay,
They got approved.
and that's been approved.
That parking lot's getting redone.
I know.
The entirety of that
Geez,
parking
that's
lot
the worst.
is getting redone.
Are we doing it?
so
No.
I got
Kate Gator,
small coffee for
the
my
owner
wife.
of that building. is
A
regulating
medium
it.
iced tea for myself, $17.
Wait,
Did you
wait.
have fun
did
while you were in
seven?
line with the hamsters bouncing all over the place?
2 drinks?
2 drinks
oh my gosh.
in that parking lot. Holy cow.
I know, you
mean,
take your
it's like
life in your
very-
So no, so
Yeah, we really
Yes.
pressed
So
on
one of those
it.
holes to knock them out.
which
But
one?
I don't know.
I
I don't know
is
if
Ross
surviving that amount.
or Burlington Coat
Drinks.
coming?
I thought
But
they were-
people pay it at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I know,
So
right?
yeah, it said one pulled it and one's still there, but I don't know which.
Because there's so many
Why
choices.
went in there? I could have
And Ross got approved.
Yeah, all kids.
Well,
Bouncing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
100%.
So is that
Is
that backwards? Is the Burlington and the Ross for Dress for Less backwards?
Ross is going into Office Max,
They are.
Ross is going
right?
up.
Burlington is going into.
got it.
Now, I had it wrong on the first, that's why you got to revise.
Okay. Oh, okay. Didn't
So
notice
if you
that.
printed
So
it.
there's still both coming.
Oh, they're
both
coming.
So what does pulled permit mean?
Oh,
They
they
got
got
their
their
building
building
permit.
permit. They must not have
Oh.
had it yet.
That's the-
They don't have to worry about that and the J and the D and
Yeah,
the
but
Q and the.
You should tell Tom about that. I will talk to him, but I don't. We'll
And
figure it
again,
out.
I mean, I get it. It should absolutely think it's important, just not to actually get your permit.
Discussion before the meeting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, unrelated to IDA.
The town I
But
live
the
in.
best news is, if anybody loves tropical smoothie like I do, I drive up to Amherst to have a. You don't do a
Never been
blueberry-
there.
No, I've never been there
They
either.
have
Yeah.
Well, you can't drive to this place. You'll have to get out and go in.
Smoothie, you'll have to go in.
With the one that's going in Lockport.
Oh, tropical, you have, yeah, even they
You have
don't
to walk
usually
in.
have a drive-through.
Okay, that's true.
So that, yeah, you park and you walk in, and they're very efficient,
Very
and
good.
their food is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, healthy.
Where?
food.
There.
Did we?
GameStop.
I love
Right
it.
across the small parking lot.
There's food there too.
I'm
Yeah,
proud.
and they're quick.
Oh,
and
okay.
Way
it's-
quicker than
Oh, like Five
I
Guys.
know, really, right next to it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because all the
Oh,
smoothies
cool.
and the frappes that
We're moving up in the world.
my son.
Who your son, who is?
My son.
Oh.
Oh, well.
GameStop is going to try to buy some other company.
Oh, it was something totally eBay.
It went south.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a budget that went south yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, which
God.
is crazy.
Yeah.
What is
Right.
it? Something totally eBay.
I know. But yeah, it fell through.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like weird.
Anything else for new business before we move along?
No, unless you have any questions, I think I've said enough.
All right, then we'll take a motion, move into executive session for consultation with attorney. Motion by Darlene, second by Bob. All in favor?
Hi.
All right. We can turn it
Where's
up.
that button? Which one is it, Pat?
What's that?
Mike.
A motion.
Motion by Chris, second by Bob. All right, next meeting, Thursday, June 11th, 8 a.m. Let Pat know if you can't make it. And take a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second by